I didn't post all the videos. I didn't post the one because there was a drunk girl, naked, basically her shirt. I could have posted it, but the cop then raped her. And it was the actual video, and then not taking her to the hotel, but he did. And raped the woman, and it was court hearing proceeding. He seemed like a nice guy, like anybody you would talk to. There were a lot more of animal shootings. You say, oh, that's just, you're just downing on cops. You know, I told a story of, here's the story I told. Say if an officer was accused of raping a child, do you think that that officer would ever be the same one that would interview the witnesses? Do you think that? And do you think that it was ever possible that the witness committed suicide with that officer's own weapon? Would you ever see those videos? You say, oh, certainly things like that in society wouldn't go on. If people have crimes that they have also committed with people, one of the things, I wasn't going to talk of any of these issues today. That was a story I discussed with somebody else a long time ago. If people have crimes that they commit with other people that are in top of office and they're familiar, there were two separate people. All my friends, I'm not going to give names. It's so strange. Two separate people. And some of my friends, believe it or not, don't know each other. But one of my friends that I've known for a long time, and it's been here for a long time, and it has to do with, I didn't want to get into it, but people that are like in corruption, and some of them do indeed practice occult stuff, but it was talking about deaths or, you know, occult practices. So separately, but it was in the same week. A friend said how some that are up in the levels of occult, but are also involved in community, that children are actually offered. Now, this has been something that, you know, people have debated whether they do human sacrifice or not, if some have over. But anyway, this came up just out of the blue, and there was a totally another person that has nothing to do with him. I don't even think he knows him. And as he was talking to me, he said the same thing. Talking about, I don't have an exact name, but talking about stuff that's going on with those that, particularly out on the island. I live here in Florida. I don't think everybody's involved in that. But I had another person a few years ago that had experiences and said, no, there are people in upper levels that do things. Now, all these videos I'm posting have nothing to do with that. How would any of that fit in? If you're involved with things with other people, and you're part of whatever, I think the majority, the dog shootings, I remember there was a law enforcement officer, and he was out of Claiborne County, and I knew his family, but when he became, I think with SO, but sure enough, and everybody, he's on the job, but he shot these ladies' dogs a couple years now, maybe 15 years ago. It made it to the news. I said, oh, he just shot those dogs. It was on the island. But he was gung-ho, and I had a friend of mine who was a volunteer firefighter. Those who think I make these up, I don't even know if you could find records. They get rid of records of their own. One of the videos talked about they don't keep records of cops. Some of the cops were, we had a case here recently, they might have been raping and killing, and then they get moved to another state, and they're back on a department. And we had a case here, I forget what he was accused of, in South Texas, just in the last few months. They said, how did they get hired? Well, we don't keep records of all that. So anyway, this one officer, this one cop, SO guy, sheriff's office. He shot the lady's dogs on the beach. But he was someone that was gung-ho. Now, I had a friend of mine who was a volunteer firefighter in Kingsville many, many years ago. I didn't know him that well, but I remember his name. I won't give you his name. But he finally got a job at the airport as cop for the airport. Got fired because he shot his weapon in the airport. Very big thing. This is before. You say, then how do you... A lot of these things could be resolved. The cop that raped that lady, I saw the video. It wasn't rape, but they showed the cop video and then he took her to a hotel. But that was being investigated. They say aggressive policing is like being out there, being out there, being out there. You know, just pulling people over. One of the things, a big part of that leads to people shooting people's animals needlessly. A big part of it has to do with a lot of that. You say, you're just cop bashing. I'm telling you, I see how many of them, their daily, their area, wherever it is, they have a grind that this is my turf, I'm going to be out today, I'm going to be making the rounds. And when you have consistent interaction with people that are not breaking the law, and consistent, oh, we're driving around today, it's a Sunday, oh, people getting out of church, that looks suspicious. You cannot keep these people, the ones that are out raping women, doing the things that people think they're not doing that. Some are. Some are getting away with it. Left and right, I gave you the case. It makes, you could have video. The other ones I didn't post. There used to be even worse videos of beatings, like a collage. Cops beating women, cops beating kids, cops beating handicapped kids. I didn't particularly look for that, but when I Googled police abuse, some are not. Some are, I posted one from the New York Times. A lot are from the Young Turks. And it's not a matter of a few bad apples. It's a matter of we have a process where a lot of people believe having this particular office called civilian policing in the United States of America, that, okay, well, try not to pull over it. You should avoid people unless you have some indication of crime. There are too many cases where people are killed or murdered by officers. Famous cases. And it all started with either, oh, you're selling a Lucy, Eric Gardner, or whatever. Oh, well, we'll choke the shit out of you. It wasn't a chokehold. It was a chokehold. I paid attention. So many of them. And many you never see. Many you never see. That if, especially after one of my homeless friends might have died. Because they said yesterday they were going to take Roger off of life support. I don't know. He might have died. I still posted, pray for him. But it's really untenable. You know, Bob. Pray for Bob Coleman because he's in the hospital. I didn't know that. I won't tell you the other name. He said, you know, so-and-so, not really one of my street friends that had background in crime, but he's a nice guy. He's a homeless guy. He said, he don't like the cops, John. I said, I know. It says he leaves them alone. He doesn't talk bad about them. But he just doesn't want to have the interaction. Because a lot of times the interaction is, you know, coming up to people or the shooting of the dogs on the island. I know that guy was out there. Believe me, I know who that guy was. And then they run around, well, justified, I got the gun, I got the... Policing should become, I don't want to go on. I didn't show you the worst ones. But the public doesn't realize it, and I remember, there's so many I could give you. So many I could give you. People say, surely that doesn't go on. I explained to some people, why do you think that goes on? Because people have all types of things. Don't take lightly. I even gave that link to that drug bust, they said. Months investigation, FBI gave that link. Just from me reading it, the first day I read it. So you got a months-long investigation, undercover, FBI, all these agencies. And the thing that drew me to it was off of Green Bay Street, and I have friends that live over there. It wasn't them. And then I read it. He pulled somebody over, way out Weber, and they're promoting that. Look, months-long investigations by federal agencies. You're going for not what they showed on that. Why are they doing that then, John? It's just fluff that the public sees. Says, oh, they're cracking down on things. I've had friends die of drug addiction. I know my friends have struggled with it. But people that get money, you know how many, I didn't even post all the ones where they were planting evidence, which is so obvious. I read that case from the, I mentioned on the other video, the cop that he planted that gun. It was a service revolver. But you know, that white judge in that case who exonerated this cop for shooting that black guy, the judge actually, I read some of the statement as I posted it. He said, well, a heroin addict, black, he's going to be known to have a gun. Yeah, but not a gun with the cop's fingerprints and not his fingerprints. But then they argued, the judge says it's possible because that cop didn't have a jury trial. He said, let this judge decide. Look, all these cops know these judges and prosecutors. It's like all working at Walmart together, okay? They all work together. And for some reason, that white cop said, let this judge decide my case. And I read that, and the judge said, oh, I exonerated the white officer, even though the prosecutors in that state and county knew that cop planted it. And the judge said, well, it's possible that the fingerprints of the officer are on the gun, but no other DNA fingerprints or anything of the guy who supposedly pulled it at the same time. They lied. But why would the judge do that? There's so many videos, shootings, and you say these were all, a lot of them were the accidental shootings. There's some dog shootings I looked at because I wanted you to see. There was some that were worse. Some were justified. Lady had a Rottweiler out. It was loose. And the cop showed up. The Rottweiler, I didn't post that one. I don't believe. So I'm not like, let's just find something that makes them look bad. I'm telling you, civilian departments are absolutely unable to deal with this. And in our city, you particularly had that flash bomb thing, which was really horrendous what happened in that case. And the chief of police, till this day, justifies it. The city had a lawsuit. I don't know if they settled with Rosas. And I thought, what arrogance. And maybe you got to put up with maybe a 23-year-old kid, Sunday. I know it's at the station board. Hey, let's follow someone's bumper. You know how many cases that they've, and I gave these, I'll give them again. I was driving into Corpus Christi off of Weber. Talked about Weber today. And I was coming off duty from the fire department, but I had my uniform on, which looked like a cop's uniform. We had different types, but one, we had all dark blues. Anyway, it looked like a cop's uniform with the badge on. And it was coming in way out Weber. And there's a cop in the left lane many years ago, just going real slow, daring people to pass him. Okay. And everybody was, so I'm doing the speed limit, whatever it was, 40 something. I passed him, not racing. I was in a black Datsun 280ZX. I could title this False Stops, and you could tell they were admitted by the way they acted. So anyway, lights on, not sirens, but lights. We're pulling you over, boy. We ain't out enforcing the law. We're kids that are getting paid $50. These cops get paid so much in this town. And they tell you they're underpaid. They lie to you. You know how much when they sell that sick leave, some were getting $1 million after so many years of, they're screwing the town because of the service they provide and the money they're getting. Way, way, way overpaid. So one of them, in the cop car with the partner. Pulled me over many years ago, 15 years ago. Of course, I wasn't breaking law, and I knew it. But they're out. We're out to just fuck with people. That's all we're out to do that day. Just fuck with people. And as soon as he walked up to my vehicle, he never even looked in the window to see me. He thought I was a cop. And he turned around, do you want to see my license? You know how many times that happened? That happened in Robstown. When I was not in uniform, but I had my retirement badge. As soon as I pulled, a cop took a book. Now, what are you guys doing? What the hell are you doing? Are you out just, let's cruise today. Who's going to stop us? And then some little incident like, let's pull Sandra Bland over. I looked at that video. That cop spun around, scared Sandra Bland. Then she pulled over there without the blinker because she was scared. She thought he was going on a run. And she died hanging in a Texas prison cell. And they justify to this day, everything. No. And I know, look, I know these guys. You know, broken pieces of the taser were in Charlie Martin, according to what they said. Because he ran and broke the wires. Can you imagine one of the top people in this town getting tased? And you have broken pieces of a taser and they found you under a vehicle with those pieces? You were pulling them out. Can you imagine that? And in this town, probably not even a report on that. And then a big FBI crackdown, months and months and months and months, and right in the article, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? You pull somebody over for a traffic thing, fine. And then you realize that's not months and months and months and months, and the amount of drugs that were supposedly, what are you talking about? What are you telling the city? The media goes along with that? Danny, I'm friends with some cops. Not here. They got a history here. They got a history here. But that was my retired cop friend, Danny, who passed away. I posted a video the other day. He gave me those. Danny, a retired, worked for the railroad, federal, but it was there where I grew up as a kid. You'd think they would have a policy that says, you know how many cases of the planning of the evidence, all of these things? The guy, one officer was going to kill his ex, and he killed her many years ago. These are the few I remember well. And he was justified, but he's going to kill her. She knew it. He was justified. He got a warrant because the kid smoked pot, the stepson. And went right up the stairs and blew her head off twice in the head and got away with it until finally somebody said, man, we know he killed her. He said he was going to kill her. She said she was. But yet the system, it's not just. So if there was a way to just stay away from the law-abiding public. You say, no, but we don't know you. Fuck with the law-abiding public. A lot of the fucking Sandra Bland things is your inability to not fuck with the public. That's the problem. You're getting all this fucking salary that's unjustified, and what are you doing today? Get out of church? Let's fuck with somebody. Ride my bumper. Why don't you fucking just stay away from the law-abiding public and then not break the fucking law yourselves? Which I had given you fucking case after case after case, right in clear evidence. People seen people planting shit on people in the open. You all know it. You laugh your asses off about that. Even all those people are still here today. And they're one's an Iraqi war vet. Like, shit, John, we can't do nothing. And the public thinks you're doing like a fucking service. I gave that case 1,000,000 times. They'd be shocked to know that there was a time the beating slowed down. But there was a group of them that went and fucking assaulted the shit out of people and jumped their asses. They knew it. These old-timers that have been here a long time, they know it. So in that degree, they're thinking like, yeah, we get away with this. And then the public is like thinking, yeah, keep raising the taxes. I didn't even post half of the worst videos you could see. The ones that just draw all the views. I gave you a New York Times one, a lot of them from the Young Turks. It's not a one-time thing. They'll be out tomorrow. Some of them will be bored, and out of the boredom, we'll cross lines. Tomorrow. You got one of the worst fucking speed traps right over in this region over here. I don't know if they ever changed it. They used it as a permanent construction zone on part of the highway. It's very unsafe to do 45, and I used to do it. But the normal cars do about 60.
We're going to go shopping.
The normal cars usually do about 60. And so it's highway 77, 44. And I remember I was coming back, I had the guys with me. And they want you to do like 48 or a mile over. But it's dangerous to do whatever the zone is. And everybody goes through at about 60. But they use that as a speed trap. I'd set my thing for 45. That's where the speed limit. That's where they follow you. Just come back from Alice once. Followed for miles. Miles. And then finally got pulled over. For not using the blinker. But the violation that these fucks get $50,000 a year to be supposedly serving the public. The great fucking violation following me for fucking 30 miles was you didn't leave the blinker on long enough. Now you would think with the tragic fucking shootings you got in the country that you would learn. And the biggest fucking drug deals is going on with some of you guys. The biggest fucking corruption goes on with them. But yet they have 30 fucking minutes to follow my vehicle for a violation. And that was it. Not on long enough. How much money are you getting paid for this? How much fucking money do you get paid for this? What a disgrace.